You have reached Atheist Republic voicemails. God may not be listening to you, but the citizens of the Atheist Republic are. Leave us a voicemail on atheistrepublic.com for a chance to have your message broadcast to our followers worldwide. Send us your opinions, stories, advice, or concerns. Together, we'll build a platform for atheist voices all around the globe.
Hi, I'm T from Indonesia. Here I'm going to talk about the LGBT communities in Indonesia, which are under pressure and being oppressed. First of all, I myself identify as a bisexual, so I'm a part of the LGBT community. I'd like my voice to be heard by the world that the LGBT communities are under pressure. We are really struggling here. The idiocy of religion blinds the eyes of society, which the majority happens to be Muslims. But not only Muslims, most of the people, they think that the LGBT, being one of the LGBT communities, taking part of them is like being sinful, therefore they have to be cured, they have to be eradicated. It really blinds the eyes of the society. People believe that being a homosexual and whatnot is viral, therefore it can be cured. Well, it is not. Well, I'm just one of those who want to spread the news. Bring the justice for them, bring justice for them. They just want to live in peace. I just want to live in peace. So as my fellows. Thank you.
The only thing that I want to say is you should believe in yourself rather than believing in a stupid God, because you can change the world, but God will not.
Hi, I'm from France, and I was born and raised in a Muslim family, but I am an atheist, so I just support you guys. You're doing a very, very good work. So, bisous de France.
Here in Tennessee, our state constitution states that an atheist cannot hold elected office. What the crap?
Hey, thanks for having me as a member of the Atheist Republic. It's great to be joined with like-minded, rational thinking people, and let's spread the message.
Hi, I'm an atheist from Zanzibar, and I'm been recently being told by my mother not to talk about my views for fear that I might get beaten up.
Okay. My name's Neil C. Reinhardt. I'm an agnostic atheist activist, and I just saw on the news how they're having a shortage of blood. Okay, they really need blood donations. So I'm thinking if all atheist organizations would immediately contact their members and say, let's have a meeting and a blood drive, and then do press releases telling the communities that they're in that they're doing it, it would both do good by getting a lot of people blood, and it would give atheists positive, you know what I mean. I'm having troubles here. Sorry. Anyhow, you got it. See you later. Bye.
I'm a sophomore in high school. I'm in a pretty, conservative area. Most of the people here are religious. I'm personally not. I began to open my mind up more to differentiating opinions than what my parents had fed me my entire life. About halfway through middle school, that's when I started questioning a lot of the stuff that they'd fed me throughout my life, political beliefs, religious beliefs, that sort of thing. And that's when I realized I'm bisexual. That's one of the things I realized, and it's been an interesting journey. I'd say I'm definitely more happy than I was before, because I find that a lot of times the religion, mine specifically Christianity, does tend to shame you for the way you feel, the things you do, just things that come naturally, and I'd say I'm definitely happier because I'm not ashamed of the way I feel anymore. I'm not ashamed of my beliefs anymore. Because before, whenever I questioned their ideas, their beliefs, I was told that I was questioning God, and how dare I question God? But yeah, and I've got a string of friends at school who support me. We talk about these sort of things. I'm not in an entirely conservative area. It's mostly, for sure, that's certain, but a lot of the youth in my area do tend to be more minded, more atheistic. Atheism is still few and far where I live, but I do feel that it is growing. But yeah, and I know there are people who don't have as many people to be open about their beliefs with, and to those people I say, it's a good thing we've got places online like this. It allows us to talk to people who believe in the same things that we believe in. And I appreciate that sort of thing. Because back in middle school, I didn't know anyone who was also an atheist. I didn't know anyone who was also supporting of the LGBT, that sort of thing. And places like this, in general, really does help to connect you to other people that have the same beliefs as you. And that's why I do feel like this is perhaps one of the best times to be alive throughout history, because this is the time where you can believe different things from your family and your friends and the people typically around you, because you can discuss the things that they don't typically believe online. And the fact that we have this online community gives us so much more power than we previously had. And it allows us all to communicate with each other and share ideas in a way that was never possible before.
Alaskan born, raised in Point Hope, Alaska, live in Kotzebue, Alaska. It's cold and rugged up here, but we live it. Live off the land. I'm against trophy hunters, pedophiles, religion, all over. That's globally speaking. Not a believer of gods and everything else. That stuff doesn't matter. And Atheist Republic, we thank you guys for all that you do. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Abdullah Angar and I'm an ex-Muslim and an atheist. A little about my journey, why I stopped believing in Islam and started converting into atheism, although it's not a religion per se, but my views changed over years. It started with becoming non-practicing Muslims, and partly my journey to this stage also relies on traveling to Australia from Afghanistan and getting to know people, seeing a lot of secular people with different views who challenged my views. And that's how I learned. And I really felt free and enlightened once I stopped believing in Islam. I remember that when I was really young, my parents or at school, we were taught some really stupid things that they just blindly believed because they were brainwashed. For instance, being told to pray 5 times, and if you miss one single prayer, you could go to hell for years. And honestly, when I was younger, I would pray 5 times, even getting up really early in the morning, not because I cared about God, but because I feared him. And once I came to Australia over years, my view completely changed. I read Quran, I read a little bit of the other religions, and I challenged those things and realized that all these religions are actually there to control us, to tell us what to do one way or the other. First, they try to intimidate you through fear, telling you how when you die you would be tortured in the grave, or that later on you would be tortured in hell. And then there's the other side where they pat you on the head and they're like, no, all is well, and things like these are going to happen just to the non-believers, to the other people who are bad. And that's what I was constantly told. But things would be good to you if you follow, and that there are all these rewards, and there's all these fairy tales of rivers of milk and honey and things like that, which I found quite stupid. Not just because I don't like the idea of drinking milk or honey from rivers, but also because it's just plain stupid. And over the years, as I started getting to know other people from different cultures, from different backgrounds, especially with opposing ideas, I learned how stupid this was, and I learned that it actually was more like a torture. It was an abuse that I went through for years, thinking that this is all true. And it might sound stupid to someone to tell them that you believed in things like that, but when you're born in a religious country like Afghanistan, and you're constantly told that from the very beginning, from first day at school, that you're taught the first word that you're taught is Allah, which means God, and you're constantly told how you have to believe in it, and that sort of determines all your actions, which I think is quite dangerous. And this is the message that I have for a lot of my Afghan fellow Afghans who might have similar thoughts, or who might be going through their own journey. And I think that you're not bad. I think that you're on the right track, and the best thing for you to do is try to connect with other people with opposing ideas and opinions, and learn from them and challenge your views. Do not blindly believe in what you're told, because honestly, there's really nothing good about any religion, although my knowledge with other religions is limited. But I have studied Islam in high school for a long time, and overall, I don't see anything positive coming out of it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Justin. I am an atheist. I'm 38. At the age of 13, I stepped away from my mother's evangelical church. At the age of 15, I really didn't know what an atheist was until somebody told me. Atheism was explained to me, but not in very good detail. And then I learned over the years what atheism represented and what it was, for me especially. I'm not only an atheist because of what I choose not to believe or what I know is false, but I think it's an honor in the sense that there are people overseas in other countries, especially Middle Eastern countries, who will be put to death if they admit to being an atheist. And I stand strong with them. And I recognize their struggle, and that my struggle is only minimal compared to theirs. So I consider it a great honor to call myself an atheist, and to live my life the way I choose to believe or choose not to believe. So I would like to extend my gratitude to those people that are struggling in other countries to deal with persecution and prosecution due to their lack of belief. Thank you.
Please consider supporting us by sharing the podcast with your fellow heathens, or donating by going to atheistrepublic.com and clicking on support. Subscribe to Atheist Republic voicemails on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. And please leave us a review.